Hello, my name is Albert Veenstra. I am the scientific director of TKI Dinalog and professor of trade and logistics here at Erasmus University that you see at the back of me. And I'm very happy that through this medium I can be present at your seminar. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to join physically, but I will gladly come over to Poland at some next opportunity to talk to you all individually. I'm going to talk about logistics in the Netherlands and my role as an innovation director at TKI Dinalog. What we are doing in the Netherlands is we are promoting innovation in logistics through the so-called top sector policy, and TKI Dinalog is the executive body that is managing and funding the research portfolio for innovation in logistics. And we are trying to develop a balanced and broad portfolio of projects. Now, the idea of logistics is that you act in the context of chains and networks, and these networks consist of nodes and links, and the links can be both physical transportation, but also flows of information and flows of money. And this provides a very specific perspective in the way we do things, but it plays also a role in how we deal with innovation and how effective innovation can be in one part of the network and how it might impact other parts of this network. So there are a lot of innovations that we encounter in our environment. There's a lot of autonomous development of technology like 3D printing, which will change the way we move goods around the world, perhaps in the future. Robotics and all kinds of other technology, both physical technology and also the algorithms and the clever systems that drive this technology and that make them effective in a warehousing setting or sorting centers or factories. We see lots of advanced applications of drones and blockchain and artificial intelligence that are changing parts of logistics. We spend quite some time in the Netherlands on innovating trucks and other vehicles on the road, making them connected and as such providing very efficient and driverless transport, and not only for transport on the road but also on waterways and railways. Air transport, in fact, is also touched by this development. We see a lot of digitization developments. A lot of things that were physically done are now done digitally. We see paperwork being replaced by smart apps on smartphones. This is also changing the face of logistics, but it is also a challenge for a large part of the small and medium-sized enterprises to actually catch on and follow this same development. The way we try to do this is by developing so-called public-private partnerships. So we are trying to combine the private sector, companies, with the government and knowledge institutes, our universities, our national knowledge institutes, our universities of applied knowledge, to bond together and to work on these projects together. And we try to cover a broad range of topics. We also try to cover the country as broadly as we can, as you see here depicted in this graph. And we also try to balance our budget in a sense that we would like these projects to be jointly funded both from public sources and from private sources. And this differs a little bit in terms of how fundamental research the project is. So for fundamental research we put a bit more subsidy, for experimental development a bit less, but on the whole our entire portfolio, which is represented here, all the dots are projects. We try to achieve a 50-50 funding. And this has great advantages. It means that we are doing relevant things. If different parties are both jointly subsidizing or funding projects, it means that we can get both the demand side, people with a problem, and the parties with potential solutions together in projects. And this results in many cases in solutions that are still actually adopted in practice. So now I will move on to talk a little bit about sustainability, which is a particular topic that is actually increasing a lot in attention and in relevance in the Netherlands at the moment. The starting point for this is the Paris Accords and the EU climate goals, which are represented, sort of the challenge is represented in this graph. So this graph shows that if we do nothing, where emissions are going in the future, and the target, which is all the way down, which is formulated against levels of 1990. And if we do nothing by 2050 or so, we need to reduce our total emissions by 83%, or a factor 6, and that means that we actually have to start working on this now. We cannot wait until it's too late and until the task that we are faced with becomes insurmountable. So this is a challenge at a global level. It has been picked up by, for instance, the European Technology Platform ALICE, which is a collective of parties working on EU-funded research in logistics, and who have translated this into an agenda that has these 5 pillars, right? It's about reducing transport demand, just moving less product. It's about optimizing transport modes, so moving goods flows as much as possible from road to rail or from road to barge. It's about increasing asset utilization, just moving more products with the same amount of capacity. It's about energy efficiency of the vehicles, and it's about introducing other sources of energy or reducing the carbon content of these energy sources. And together this is a broad sustainability agenda at the European level. What we are doing in the Netherlands is formulated in the so-called Climate Accord for the Netherlands, and there we have distributed the target for the Netherlands into 5 industrial sectors. So the electricity industry, the manufacturing industry, the mobility sector, agriculture, and the built environment. All of these sections of our economy have to contribute with a certain specific target, and logistics is part of mobility, the red field here. So there the target is 7.3 megatons in CO2 reduction that we need to achieve. So what we are trying to do is to figure out how much we can contribute to this goal with logistics. So we are here you see the sort of total translation from the global goals into the Dutch mobility goals, and this amounts to basically a reduction in the shorter term of about 50% of the emissions of cargo transportation or professional transportation, if you will. A large part of this impact will be coming from other energy sources and electric vehicles. So we already have a more short-term goal, 2025, zero emission inner cities in 30 to 40 cities in the Netherlands. Full electric transportation is the target. We are looking at other possibilities for the short run, the long-haul electric trucks. We are looking at logistics efficiency, which will be another big contributor. And we are also looking at, let's say, the development of the infrastructure, the energy infrastructure that is required to power all these electrical vehicles, which might actually be more connected perhaps to the logistics real estate, so the warehouses and the logistics hubs, than to the vehicle, the transportation infrastructure as it is done now. So there's a lot of development here to try to achieve the contribution of logistics. We are already working hard on this, and we have been doing that for the last decade or so. One way in which we have incorporated these goals is that we demand from all our projects that they formulate their CO2 reduction potential and their reduction in transport kilometers. We have specific projects on fleet adaptations for energy transition. We have looked into the development of networks for alternative fuels like LNG, but also the infrastructure for electrical vehicles. We are also contributing with logistics knowledge to the build-up of solar parks and wind farms at sea, which is quite a challenging logistics environment to manufacture wind farms. So we are contributing to that as well with logistics planning and maintenance and service logistics knowledge. And a large part in our agenda is projects in the circular economy, where we try to reduce waste, try to build closed-loop supply chains, and try to come up with innovative business models to sustain sustainable economy developments. What we have done more specifically last year is try to assess with some entrepreneurs, with companies, what they are doing exactly, and to also figure out if they actually have this recognition of the relevance of these agendas. And what we found out is that they actually do. They are all concerned. They are all working as much as they can by adopting alternative fuels, but they are all doing different things. None of them actually had the same agenda. Some of them are focusing a lot on aerodynamical research. Some of them are focusing a lot on logistics efficiency. Some of them are trying to buy technology to clean up their exhaust fumes. And some of them are actually actively looking at hydrogen or LNG or electric vehicles as an alternative to their diesel-powered vehicles. But there is a broad range of possibilities, and all of them are looking at this. And this is complicated by engine developments, where hybrid engines for diesel electric, diesel hydrogen, hydrogen electric, hydrogen gas, diesel gas, electric gas, all these hybrid variants are under development at the moment. And entrepreneurs have big challenges of making choices, making investments under these sort of this wide variety of possibilities that they can choose from. And they also feel that the government is not helping them a lot. Our government is not setting clear policy goals, is not helping them to make these decisions properly. So we had a discussion. We formulated some recommendations for our Dutch government, and we try to very much bring this challenge, this conundrum that these entrepreneurs have to the forefront. So this is a bit of an overview of what we're doing. I thank you very much for your attention and for the possibility to make this video and show it to you. I would be very happy to also come over to Poland, as I already indicated, to physically look at the situation in Poland. I would have very much liked to have to visit the rail terminal where you are currently having this seminar. So thank you very much for your attention, and I would like to ask you to perhaps also look at some of the other materials that we have about the Netherlands and innovation in the Holland Logistics Library. Thank you very much.